Just calling the BC Ombudsman regarding my complaint that I filed on January 29th, 2026. I haven't heard anything from the BC Ombudsman in any regard, not even a acknowledgement letter, file number, nothing.
Thank you for calling the Office of the Ombudsperson. Please press 1 to continue. If you are calling with a complaint about a provincial government agency, our staff will ask you if you have contacted the organization involved or gone through their complaint process. Please see our online complaint checker tool on our website homepage for more information about where to raise concerns with specific public bodies. This is often the most effective and efficient way to have your voice heard. If you are calling about a file currently open with our office, having your file number ready will be helpful to assist us in serving you better. Please note, we do not have jurisdiction to investigate complaints about the police, the federal government, or private companies. Our complaint checker tool has information about complaint pathways that are available for these kinds of concerns. Please check our website for more information at www.bcombudsperson.ca.
Good afternoon, Office of the Ombudsperson. Shauna speaking. How can I help you?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name's Roy, and I filed a complaint against a BC government employee named William Strickland on January the 29th, 2026. And I have not heard anything. I don't believe I even have a file number from you guys yet.
Okay. What I need to do is if you can give me your first and last name again, I can just look up and see where we're at with your file.
Okay, my first name is... Say again?
Yep, go ahead.
My first name is... And the last name is...
Okay, and the complaint was what district? Can you tell me? I do have these files here, but I don't believe it was in regards to what municipality or district? Who was the complaint? You said an employee, but who was the employee?
The employee was a fella named William Strickland. That's Strickland. He's a BC government employee. He was last working for the Ministry of Children and Family Development. He's been in the newspaper before. He's been taken to court for dubious conduct, unbecoming of a government employee. He instructed the Vancouver police to ignore a child rape and he interfered in that, and it turned out the children were being sexually abused, and that went to Supreme Court. I did some research, and this William Strickland now appears in one of my files with the same parallel circumstances in which I witnessed a rape of a child. And I reported it to the Vancouver police, and it comes up that William Strickland interfered in that he instructed the Vancouver police to also ignore the rape that I reported. So I am now filing a complaint against William Strickland, and I filed that on the 29th of January, and it's now...
With our office?
Yeah.
With our office, sorry, because I don't... Okay, let me just...
Yeah, I did the online form.
okay.
The online submission form.
Okay, let me just take a look there. We are working on complaints that came in before Christmas, so I want to explain potentially why you've not heard from us. But, yeah, I do have it here. January. Okay.
Oh, you do have it? Perfect.
Okay, yep, I do. Okay, so I'm just going to put you on a brief hold and get you over to a colleague. One moment, please.
Thank you. I will point out before I forget here, that I have no file number. So it's been a few months, from all of February, all of March, or halfway through April, so just over 2.5 months, and I don't even have acknowledgement yet that I filed this complaint. I have no file number, no contact person at the Ombudsperson, nothing. Very unprofessional. Kind of just shows me they don't really take their job serious in holding government employees to account. It's more about just stalling, and hoping we all just forget about how dysfunctional and maybe even criminal the BC government is in their conduct. And there's zero accountability, and there's zero will to even attempt to hold these employees of the BC government accountable. Unless you're like these other people that took William Strickland and the BC government to court, which may have cost them, $100,000 in legal fees. There is really no accountability in the ombudsman, and I've said this for many years. It's just a paper tagger, a fake government, quasi-government organization that apparently holds themselves accountable, which they don't. They pick and choose which files they're going to open based on politics, and it has nothing to do with holding government employees to account. It's all politics. You would think a file like this would be job one, of urgency to get to the bottom of it, but and while I'm waiting here on hold, I will say that I filed another Freedom of Information request, and I spoke to the analyst, and I said, well, I found it interesting that they moved this government employee, William Strickland, the one that phoned the Vancouver police and told them to ignore my rape report, and it had been taken to court before for similar actions. It's interesting that he's no longer on the database. And
Good afternoon, Leilani speaking. How may I help you?
Yes, good afternoon. Did you get the briefing from the person I just spoke to, or?
Excuse me. I was told that you had sent through a web form a little time ago, and I'm just looking at it now. Excuse me. It was regarding the Ministry of Children and Family Development, I believe?
Yes, the fellow's name was William Strickland. Well-known fella. He's been in the news before. He's been in the news for similar actions prior, for telling the Vancouver police.
Who is William Strickland?
William Strickland is a fellow that works for the BC government, the Ministry of Family and Children Development, Ministry of Children and Family Development. A quick search will show that he has been taken to court before for instructing the Vancouver police. I believe the police officer's name was Pollard, that was in the court notes, to ignore a child rape that a parent had brought forward to the police. And somehow Strickland got involved, instructed the police to ignore the rape, not investigate it, and then it turned out that he had interfered. There was a sexual assault of some sort. I don't know exactly how far it went, but then he was found, William Strickland was found guilty of that action, misfeasance of public trust, I believe the Supreme Court judge had said. I would have to look it up here. But my complaint is I had witnessed a child being raped many years ago. I had gone to the Vancouver police, to two police officers, and their names were Sgt Jackel and Sgt Gibson. And this was some years ago. And nothing was being done. There was no investigation. There was no follow-up questions to me. I was going through a stressful time at that time because the perp that I caught raping a child was coming after my kids, and this is what made me want to go to the police and tell them about what I had witnessed years earlier with this Catholic family and the cover-up by the Catholic family and the threats against me, one of the reasons I didn't originally go to the police. And so I filed, I believe, I filed with the OPCC, and it got whitewashed, and the two police officers, there was nothing. It was just like, that's the way it is. Both officers were quickly, one was retired, Jackel was retired, and Gibson was moved out of the Vancouver Police Department. So they opened the file up again. The Vancouver Police were nice enough to open the file up. We admitted no responsibility, no guilt, no that they had done nothing wrong, but they opened up the file and they gave it to two more police officers, this time actually in the sex crimes division of the Vancouver Police. Their names were Waterfield and Blin. But the same thing happened, and this was disturbing. I gave my statement. It was a recorded statement. It seemed this time they wanted to actually investigate. Nothing became of it. I was not asked one single follow-up question. That was just, to me, ludicrous. None of my no questions regarding the witnesses, the person that had threatened me not to go to police, the person I had told about the rape the next morning after I witnessed it, the threats against me for going to the police, etc. There wasn't a single question put towards me. So I believed that the Vancouver Police, again, were not doing their job, and I wondered why. So I filed for Freedom of Information documents, and William Strickland's name has come up as having contact with the Vancouver Police. I put two and two together, and now I'm understanding that William Strickland, more than just this other person years ago, I believe it was like 2008, he had instructed Vancouver Police, Pollard, to ignore a rape, and that went to court. Now we have William Strickland telling Vancouver Police to ignore my rape report, and that this is what this is about. This is about William Strickland's continuous dubious behavior. Now I understand from doing an FOI request and speaking to the analyst that William Strickland has been moved from Vancouver, where he was employed, to the northern tip of Vancouver Island, and he's been pulled off the database. I have that recording if you need that as evidence. But that's pretty dubious of the BC government. Now, knowing that William Strickland has such a bad reputation, and that I've been speaking out to government saying, how come this guy's still around? And their answer was to pull him off the public database and move him up to, I believe it's Port Hardy now he works. So this is extremely...
So what is his role? Where exactly does he work?
I don't know. I imagine he is working for the Ministry of Children and Family Development still up in Port Hardy as opposed to Vancouver.
Okay, so have you had direct contact or interaction with this individual?
William Strickland? He came up, so my children, I believe my ex has Munchausen by proxy. She has a lot of issues, and she told my children because God had told her that I'm no longer the father of my children. I've been alienated from my kids because of her powerful family, and this rhetoric and stuff the family's been feeding my children for years. But I think part of it stems because I had witnessed the rape of one of those family members, and they didn't like that, so they wanted to push me out of the family as far away as they could. I don't know, but when I filed a complaint with the Ministry of Children and Family Development years ago, I never had any conversations with any William Strickland, but now pulling up the FOI files, his name does appear in some of those old documents. Of course, it's all redacted, unfortunately, of what he's actually saying and what role he played when I had contacted the ministry. My only guess is he may, in his mind, it's a long shot, believe that it was contentious separation and divorce, and believe that maybe I'm making the rape up. But this would be impossible because there is an extremely powerful recording of my ex telling me and poo-pooing the rape, her exact words, back I believe it was, this is going back over 10 years ago, this recording. So, you can't, right, if I made it up, on a Monday, it was the Sunday that this conversation happened, so the timeline would have never worked. It would have been impossible for me to make this up. So I don't know William Strickland's thinking, but he has a long history, and just the ones we know of instructing the Vancouver police, which I don't know how he has jurisdiction to instruct police to ignore a child rape. I don't know what authority and how he acquires that authority, but he obviously must be a very powerful man to phone up the Vancouver police and have this conversation to ignore a rape on many occasions, right? There's Sgt Pollard.
So what evidence do you have that this William Strickland instructed the Vancouver police to not investigate the rape that you reported?
I have the FOI documents from the Vancouver police, and I have my FOI documents from when I was involved with the ministry. And I also have the circumstantial evidence of me reporting it to the Vancouver police, and then reporting it to specifically Sgt Jackel and Sgt Gibson years ago, and there being no investigation, which we all admit there was no investigation. The Vancouver police admitted that.
So the FOI documents do in fact indicate that this individual told Vancouver police not to investigate it?
No, but I'm looking at a document right now, and it says the call details, and of course it's heavily redacted because unfortunately our government is a little bit secretive when it comes to this kind of stuff and overly redacts things. But I'm trying to read it here. So I have posted this on the internet for all the world to see because I don't have much faith in the BC Ombudsman investigating government employees when they themselves are government. But
well, first of all, we do not.
No, don't even go there. Anyways, the document is. I mean, you can look it up, and I sent it to you guys when I filed this. I attached it, so you have it there. For reference,
the only thing I have here is the complaint form that you filled out. I don't have anything else.
It said if there was any attachments, and I attached it.
I can ask our communications people, but there's no attachment with this. I just see the complaint form itself.
Okay, well, I'll quickly read it to you, just for, to document that I spoke to you and told you about this. The document number is 205862, and it has a heading of Ministry of Children and Family Development. Time of call, 12:30 p.m. And it says here, call date details. As a result of receiving information that Mr., and that's me, I redacted it because it's on the internet here, was dissatisfied with the recent contact with the district office in Vancouver, RHK, Mr., again, I redacted my name, was phoned on his home line by T.L. Strickland. So that's the fellow involved in my case here that was involved in my case. So I was lucky enough to get enough documents from the Ministry of Children, and Strickland's name pops up on my case file.
Okay, so it says that he called you, but I'm still wondering where you have the information that he told the Vancouver police not to investigate.
Well, there would be, do you honestly believe there would be a document that said do not investigate that I would have access to? So I filed an FOI.
I don't know. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm telling you. Absolutely. Okay. Mr. Strickland has a history of instructing the police, specifically Sgt. Pollard, to ignore a rape. That went to the BC Supreme Court. And now a child rape. Imagine that, a child being raped, a brutal rape, and not just like touching. This was full-on penetration, forced penetration. I witnessed that. I have a witness that admits that I told her about that years ago, and I have that recording. The police have that. They didn't ask a single question regarding that recording. Strickland's name appears in not only the Vancouver police documents, but in documents where he apparently had called me. I don't recall ever speaking to this William Strickland, but his name appears all over my file. And that's the document I'm looking at here.
Have you taken this to the ministry then? Have you gone through their complaint specialists?
Yes, I brought this to the ministry a few different times, and it's just stonewall. Absolute stonewall. You get absolutely nowhere. Even the documents, like it takes me absolutely, I mean, it'll take a year just to get any FOI documents from those guys. It's brutal because everything's redacted. Then I got to go back and demand that they be unredacted through the regulatory body. I can't remember what they're called right now, but it's.
So, have you taken this to the complaint specialist specifically at the ministry?
No, do I know if there's a complaint? So I want to backtrack for 1 second, and I appreciate that that suggestion here. So I filed this complaint against William Strickland 2.5 months ago, and I do not even have a file number from you guys, the Ombudsperson.
Right, and for that I apologize. We have a huge backlog of files, so it's in our queue, but we're unfortunately that busy. We have a lot of files that are here waiting to be looked at.
Okay, so I'll repeat again. This is involving a ministry employee instructing Vancouver police to ignore rape. The rapist is not in jail. Apparently has not even received a phone call. The victim, Vancouver police, Sgt Blin and Waterfield, said that they left a voicemail for the victim. He didn't call back, so they dropped the file. And I was good enough to actually do an FOI file, and I actually found that FOI file from the Vancouver police the second time. The first time they said it didn't exist. The second time it actually did magically appear. So I find it just absolutely shocking that the Ombudsperson, who is here to protect British Columbians, is so backed up that 2.5 months later, I don't even have a file number on this
process that we follow. And what I would recommend at this point is, if you haven't yet done so, to give a call to the complaint specialist at the ministry. Once you've spoken to them, that's what we would require in order for us to look at this file any further, is we need to give the ministry a chance to address the matter before our office takes a role in it.
Interesting that 2.5 months later, and after I make the effort to phone you to say, what's going on with this case, and now you're sending me back to the ministry. The ministry that we know just spent a ton of money on lawyers insulating William Strickland, and even with top government lawyers, were not able to insulate him enough. Then the ministry took it upon themselves to pull him out of the database, to the public database, and put him on the private database. So the news media, guys like me, would not know that he is actually still working for the Ministry of Children, doing these harms to children, probably, most likely. This time on the northern tip of Vancouver Island, where nobody knows him, as opposed to Vancouver, where he's made the newspaper. And now it's up to me to go back to this dubious organization and file a complaint with them before I file a complaint, which I already have filed, with the Ombudsperson. Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm telling you is that our process is to allow an organization, a public authority, the opportunity to respond to a complaint first, as our role as the Ombudsperson is to look at possible unfairness when a person has exhausted their means. In other words, if there's still a recourse, if you're able to bring it to the ministry's attention but haven't yet, that would be the first step.
I can appreciate that.
If they say that there's nothing that can be done, at that point, you can come back, give us a copy of the complaint specialist letter that they will send you, and we can have a further discussion if there's a role for our office at that point.
Interesting. Okay. So I will do that, but I will make you guys aware again that William Strickland has been brought to court. Someone brought him to court for calling the police, Pollard, exactly, Sergeant Pollard, and telling him to ignore rape. Proved that, and then eventually it was proven that those children were being sexually assaulted. The Ministry of Children the BC government spent a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money, on lawyers to insulate William Strickland. So they were insulating themselves using public money. And now the BC Ombudsman, which is quasi-government, is telling me to go back to that organization that has spent all that money insulating themselves and say, hey, will you be good guys and investigate yourself? Will you be good guys and tell me, why you're calling the Vancouver police and tell them to ignore rapes, child rapes specifically? And you think that's a viable path?
I do think that's a viable path.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Leilani.
How do you spell that?
Leilani.
Okay, and you are a analyst for the British Columbia Ombudsman?
I am an intake and early resolution officer.
Perfect. What's your background? What's your education? Just curious.
That's not pertinent to this. What I can do is I can...
So just hold on. So you're refusing to say what your educational background and what makes you qualified for this position? The
ombudsperson only hires people who are qualified for the role.
And what's the qualifications?
That's not pertinent to your complaint at this time.
But I'm asking you.
And I'm answering you.
No, you're refusing to answer me.
I've answered you. I've said that that's not pertinent to the complaint you brought to our office. And I've also explained that I'm happy to send you an email with what our process would be to further this complaint. I'm happy to do that.
But you're not happy to be transparent.
I'm not sure what you're asking of me at this point.
Well, you're an intelligent man. I just asked you straight up, what is your background? What is the qualifications for your job that you are doing as an intake worker at the British Columbia Ombudsman's office? What are your qualifications?
I just don't see how that's relevant to me giving you the process for making a complaint with the ministry.
Well, you're the fella that's been assigned to me, right? I reported that a British Columbia government employee has not only called the Vancouver police and told them to ignore a child rape that I personally witnessed, a brutal child rape, but this same man has a dubious history that can be found on Can Law, that can be found in the CBC newspaper about him calling Sergeant Pollard and telling him to ignore a rape, which the Vancouver police did. So he must be a very, very powerful man to be able to do this. And I would want to know all the people involved in this, right? And you're one of the people involved in this. So I just want to know your
involvement at this point is reviewing the web form that you sent to us, and I intend to respond to it. And at that point, if you're dissatisfied with my response, we can go from there.
What does that mean?
It means exactly what I said it means. I'm going to send you an email that outlines the complaint process for the Ministry of Children and Family Development and my referral to the complaint specialist of the ministry. And then if you've gone through that process, it would be appropriate for you to return to us if that doesn't resolve your concern.
Okay. So I will say that you're the BC Ombudsman, and you've been made 100% aware that this dubious man interfered in a child rape, and that the rapist, pretty lucky guy, is just out there doing whatever he wants. He's never been investigated because
all I know at this point is what you're telling me. That's all I know. I can't substantiate. I can't verify.
Well, I
have
mean,
this web form, and I have you on the phone with me at the moment. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you won't even give me your qualifications, right? So, I mean, that's absolutely.
At this point, we are going in circles. So
we absolutely are going in circles, right? Absolutely. I do agree we're going in circles. And it seems that's what the BC Ombudsman and the BC government is all about. Just endless bureaucracy and endless circles.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry I feel that way. I mean, that's the truth. But anyways, I'll give you my email. Hold on here. I know you're going to want to hang up. So I'm going to give you my email so you can send me that information, okay? He just hung up. So that's the BC Ombudsman. So that's what they try to do, is they try to throw the bureaucracy at you, talk in circles, be non-transparent, and then as soon as you raise your voice, that gives them the right to hang up on you. So as me witnessing a rape, a brutal child rape, I have to keep my composure, or the BC government hangs up on me. Because you got to understand, these organizations are not about protecting children. They're not about making British Columbia a better place. They're about insulating each other. The bureaucracy is about insulating each other, and the BC government spent a lot of money insulating this William Strickland, and they're going to do every damn thing they can do to keep this William Strickland off the radar again, right? So I have to call the BC Ombudsman back here again and have that sent to me. See, he should have, if he was truly an analyst, and if he had any skills, he should be able to work with people that raise their voice, as I did. And it wasn't that loud. I wasn't swearing. I wasn't threatening. I was just raising my voice in a passionate way, because I've dealt with the BC government before, and I know the game. I know how that works. And I just wanted to make this Leland, Leilani, Leilani, I believe his name was, aware of all. So the BC Ombudsman could not say, well, we didn't know about this, or the BC government said we didn't know about this. So I have sent this exact file to our Premier's office, which is David Eby, and just got a generic response back. He also, too, you'll notice that this guy did not give me a file number. He could have said, yeah, just give me your email and we'll have this done. I'm sorry you feel that way. It's all condescending. You got to understand, these guys are just, there's really no way to explain the BC Ombudsman and the highly bureaucratic, highly, it's just essentially corruption is what it is. BC is such a absolute shithole of corruption. It's just so gross. And so you gotta understand, I've been working on this file now for, oh my God, for over 10 years now. So I've been all through this, like I've been all through the government, and I can't imagine just the thousands and thousands of serious complaints put forth about our BC government, and this is the system. It's just designed to keep you wrapped up in it forever and ever and ever. And this is why I have to post things on the internet. I mean, this is what I deal with, right? I mean, please listen to the recording of my ex-partner poo-pooing the rape and telling me, oh, it happens in Cub Scouts and hockey anyway, so why are you making such a big deal of it? And, and then, the family put a lock on the kid's door. Yeah, that's how they protect the kid from being raped. Being further raped, right? And I believe there was, this had been going on for a long, long time with this family. I believe they knew about this kid being raped for quite some time.
Thank you for calling the Office of the Ombudsperson.
So you got to go through this whole rigmarole again.
Thank you for calling the Office of the Ombudsperson. Please press 1 to continue.
So if you had a dial-up phone, I guess you wouldn't be pushing 1, would you?
About a provincial government agency, our staff will ask you if you have contacted the organization involved or gone through their complaint process. Please see our online complaint checker tool on our website homepage for more information about where to raise concerns with specific public.
This Leilani actually hung up on me, but I'm just going to tell the person there that I got cut off. So I need a file number.
Good afternoon, this is the Office of the Ombudsperson.
Yeah, good afternoon. It seems I got cut off from an intake worker that I was speaking to there.
Okay, what was your name?
It's
Okay, one moment, please.
So you got to imagine, you're busy working. Would anyone have the time to go through the bureaucracy of the BC government? Just all the firewalls and hurdles and tripping hazards they put in front of you. Again, I've been working on this file now for absolute years.
Thanks for holding. The intake team just stepped into a team meeting, so I can have someone call you back. Could I please just confirm your phone number?
Yeah, the phone number is 77.
Okay, thanks. I'll have someone call you back.
And I can give you my email if you want here too.
Sure, go ahead.
It's
Mm-hmm.
at hotmail.com.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll have someone contact you.
And the fellow was going to give me the file number. Do you have the file number?
For your previous file with our office?
For this complaint that I filed against William Strickland on January the 29th, 2026?
I don't know if it's been generated yet, but I'll add it to the callback request for information, okay?
Perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, so I want to point out one more thing, and I didn't call her on it because it's pretty common. Whenever you deal with government, the BC government, or quasi-government people, will try to get off the phone by claiming they have another call coming in or a meeting to go to, or if they want to avoid you, they're on another call, or they're just going into a meeting. So it's pretty standard practice.